drama can't get our fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checkered flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You to NFR, feel the speed. Sunday night, lights are bright, engines roar, take the flight. On the track, speed ignites, feel the rush, grip it tight. Racers fly through each turn, fierce and fast, rubber burns. Champions rise, lessons learned, victories call, hearts yearn. SKR, feel the drive, yeah. Push the limit, come alive. SKR, feel the speed. Adrenaline is what we need. Fast here, engines wail, close the gap, never fail. Pit stops quick, no detail. Fuel the fire, trail to tail. Final lap, tension high. Who will win? Who will fly? the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. The victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. The victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, 'cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
Like a shooting star, the engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning
racing, it's the dream. Speed and drama every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter, see in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see. In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Lights out, engines roar. Sunday night, we want more. Speed kings racing on the track. Feel the thrill, no turning back. Drivers chase, the trophy gleams. 6 p.m, the race of dreams. Corners tight, they grip and slide. Feel the rush, take it in stride. SKR, we're racing high. They glide and weave, all the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high, burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed Kings racing, we want more. Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You to NFR, feel the speed, the speed. Sunday night, lights are bright, engines roar, take the flight. On the track, speed ignites, feel the rush, grip it tight. Racers fly through each turn, fierce and fast, rubber burns. Champions rise, lessons learned, victories call, hearts yearn. SKR, feel the drive, yeah. Push the limit, come alive. SKR, feel the speed. Adrenaline is what we need. Fast here, engines wail, close the gap, never fail. Pit stops quick, no detail. Fuel the fire, trail to tail. Final lap, tension high. Who will win? Who will fly? Rivalries burn under the sky. Finish line, here's the cry. SKR, feel the drive, yeah. Push the limit, come alive. SKR. track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that middle. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie, and when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to SKR. Of course, it is a Sunday afternoon, That means it's time to get going with SKR Season 10 Round 5. And we're in Silverstone. Personally not one of my favorite circuits. Some of the guys like it, some of the guys hate it. Of course, some pretty famous sections around here, the Maggots and Beckett's section coming straight to mind. Already a lot of drivers going out on circuit, wanting to get those bankers in. Remember, just the short qualifying session here in SKR. It's just the 18 minutes for everybody to go out, set their time and sort themselves out on that grid. And if you don't get that first benchmark time, if you invalidate your lap, if you make a mistake, make a lap you're not happy with, well then the pressure starts to mount as the time continues to tick and you see yourself at the rear of the field. One of the first drivers out of the pits, this was Tian, one of the favourites for tonight. One of the favourites for tonight, also on an outback, is Wheeze. Don't forget this man here, Andre, if it rains, oh, we expect a lot from him. Last week's performance in the rain, well, just giving himself a lot of pressure, because from now on I'm going to call him the Rain Master. I expect him to perform in the rain. Most of the cars are out on circuit. I think just 4 drivers remain in the pits. Dion is the first driver to start a quick lap. Everyone else still on out laps. Will ride with the RB driver. You're going to get a good reference from a lap, then you want to race with one of the best, and that's probably not going to help him. The car there on the outside did go towards the grass, did get out of the way. But it's always in the back of your mind, what is that driver doing? Is he going to come back on track? Does he see me? It's just sometimes enough to put you off. Especially if you're going for that absolute ultimate lap. Your concentration is somewhere else, even for a second. You're not going to get that ultimate lap. So, lap slightly impeded. Heading into Maggots and Beckett's. Of course, a corner you used to look quite a lot, but in these modern cars, simply fly through, pulling the car left and right to make it into slips, and when you get it spot on, oh, it feels good on that exit. Not my favourite circuit, but when the setup does work, when the car does work, when you do get into the flow of this circuit, you understand why it's been on the calendar for this long. Virus 27.5, good enough for P2, Skull over the line 28.2, 28.5 for Harsh Cartoon. Theon is quickest as expected in the early stages, the only driver in the 26s. Say 26.6, gives us a 1 second difference between P1 and 2, but lots of drivers yet to get a lap in. One of the drivers I expect a little more from, I know he's quick, it's this man here, Lebby. No lap time from the Salva driver just yet. Might be mistaken, but I think that was the winner of the JPR race on Friday night. Might be mistaken, because I'm not sure. I retired from that race on Friday night. This is Gatosi. Seems to be, is he missing his teammate? No, he's not. There's his teammate. His teammate's in P9, Akmagosi. I'm going to keep on saying it. Those two teammates, they're out to confuse me. They're trying to get my lines all mixed up. 2 Alpines, one is Gatosi, one is Akmagosi. The Sugar Bear looking for his first lap, and it's a good first lap. It's 28.0. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear that noise. That's the sound of thunder. If you can hear it, let me know. I'll try and close some windows around here. It is pretty loud. This is the Haas Sugar Bear. Back to the Alpine of Katosi. This is one of the Ferraris. In fact, it's the only Ferrari. Just the 16 drivers here on the night. We've had 18 to 19 for the most part this season. Slightly lower attendance tonight, but that means all to play for the drivers who haven't had a fantastic start to the season. This might give an opportunity for points. Of course, the top 10 store points. The drivers now in the pits. This is in between their first and second stint. And then they need to get things going so that they can fit in that third stint. Down the order. Got Pantry Star still sitting in the pits. No movement from him. Levy on an outlap. No timed lap as of yet. Captain Slow on a quick lap. No timed lap just of yet. That's a terrible name for a racing driver. Dian's still out front. Wee's P2. That is a predictable front row. Spikes in P3. Then Andre. What a job he's been doing lately. He's been finding himself higher and higher up the order on a more consistent basis. And then even more important than that, he's been able to maintain that position within the race. And even make up some along the way. It's one thing being quick over a single lap. It's quite different to apply that to an entire race. I've seen many a driver very, very quick on the single lap, constantly within the top 5 of qualifying, who simply drop off in the race. It's Ferrari has joined the lobby. That's going to take us up to 17 drivers. He's going to jump in the car and surely get on track shortly. We were mentioning some of the favourites tonight. Dion one of them, Rees one of them. Andre's been pulling off some pretty good performances, and don't forget about it's Ferrari. He's just joined the lobby. And that is one of the potential favourites for tonight. Sugar Bear, we join him just in time as he goes over the line and puts the Haas up into P3. We haven't been speaking too much about the Haas drivers, but look at that, they're P3 and 4. Good evening for the Haas so far. They'd love the checkered flag to fall right now. 2 Haas cars going from the second row. As a result, Andre down to 5th, Virus down to 6th. The second McLaren of Smurf is in 7th place, and he's on an outlap going for that second run already. This is Skull, one of the Williams drivers. His teammate up in P2, 27.2. That is Rees. What a teammate to have. So the first rule in motorsport is beat your teammate. If you get handed a teammate like that at the beginning of the season, what you're supposed to do besides put out a big sigh. Now the Doc has joined. We're up another driver, I believe. Let's just wait and see. Of course, we had 16. We're up to 17. It's Ferrari is grayed out, so I'm not sure if he's in that car. Dion, if he's not in that car, he should be available for the race. Still Pantry Star and Captain Slow at the rear of the field with no lap times next to their name. Lots of work to do with just 7.5 minutes remaining. That's why I said earlier on, get that first run all wrong. And all of a sudden, it's time starts to tick. So much more pressure on that second run. Get it wrong again. It all comes down to that final run. And that is the last scenario you want to find yourself in. Pantry Star has since set a lap, and it was a fantastic lap, a very low 27.1. Tian goes faster, 26.5, finds an extra tenth, moves the goalpost ever so slightly. You think you're 4 tenths away. He says, well, it's half a second now, you're going to have to find a little bit more. That's the gap on the front row, half a second between Tian and Leby. Said he'd been racing out of position this season, showing his potential on the grid. In P2, Pantry Star, also a driver who doesn't always show his potential in the race, showing his capabilities here in quali. And what a race it would be if all of these guys translated this sort of pace into the race. Remember, qualifying is one thing, race is quite another. These cars are set up to be as perfect as they can be on a weekend. Almost no fuel, the softest compound of tyre available. Don't have to worry about tyre management. It's all about going out there, throwing the car around, setting the fastest lap, and you're going to dispose of those tyres anyway. So this is all about going as quick as you can. In the race, a bit of management starts to come into it. The car's going to feel very different with the full fuel tank. Well, it's not going to feel exactly the same as it does now. You're not going to be as brave on those opening laps. So important to find a setup that is balanced, not only for that one lap pace in quali, but something that is still going to give you very decent race pace throughout. This is the only Ferrari on the grid here this evening. This is France. Current best is a 29.0. He's looking for an improvement. Currently in P14. Will you look at that? Rees has gone quicker, 26.4. He's moved that pole position time by a tenth. He ended at 26.6, then he improved at 26.5. And now Rees has said, well, hold my drink. 26.4, moves it a further tenth of a second. And throws the gauntlet, throws the challenge. Down to Tian, down to Leby, down to Pantry Star. Just come and get me. This is one of those two fast drivers, both of them doing fantastic at this point. 5 and 6, Sugar Bear and Spikes. This here is Sugar Bear. Getting down the old pit straight. So crazy to think that this was once turn 1. Silverstone has evolved over the years. Something like 7 or 8 different layouts over the years. Of course, originated as an airfield. Joe's saying it's very, very sad to just see the one Ferrari on the grid. Ferrari having to do budget cuts, of course, hiring Lewis Hamilton for £100 million. They want to do some budget cuts. They're just running their virtual races with one driver in a team now. Didn't pay Joe enough to be on the grid. That's why he's in the com slots. Sugar Bear running awfully wide. I think that was a quick lap. He's just backed off now. Obviously not going according to plan. This is the second. Yes, it is the second Red Bull. Pantry Star and Top Gun are teammates. Pantry Star up in P4, so hanging on to that second row. Top Gun just on the wrong side of the top 10 in P11. Looking to break that top 10. Make his race a little easier. Of course, the drivers in the chat there are one or two of them, and none of them have mentioned any rain to me in qualifying or the race. So I think it's safe to presume there will be no rain. But of course, if you are one of the drivers, Wheeze, you're in the pits, let me know. Faree, Skull, whoever it is, let me know. Is there rain coming in the race? So if we don't get rain, there's still other stoppages that can come to the race in the likes of safety cars. And those things can really mess you about. Find yourself on the wrong part of the racetrack at the wrong time. Everybody else takes advantage of the safety car that you cannot. This is Pantry Star looking for improvement. He's currently on the second row, looking to get himself onto that first row. But if he's gonna get himself onto the first row, 6/10 of a second is needed, and clearly he did not have 6/10 of a second in his pocket. So he has pulled into the pits, has Pantry Star. The only remaining driver out on circuit is Lebby, currently in sector 1. 27.0 is his current best. If he wants to promote himself to that front row, he's going to have to find himself a whole half of a second. 500ths slower than his previous run in sector 1. The limit here, and now he's got a car in front of him. Hopefully that car doesn't impede him. Hopefully it works for him. If he can just follow him through Maggots and Beckett's and then follow him on the straight, but the car does get out of the way. Doesn't look like he was impeded in any way. This is Lebby. Following him around with just 30 seconds to go in this session. Actually got a few more cars out on track towards the rear of the field. As for the front runners, Wheeze, he has called it a day. Tian out for his final lap. This is Tian on an out lap, starting a quick lap as we speak. He goes over the line. This will be his final run. Be everybody's final run, and if you're in the pits, you're not going to get a final run, you're done. Of course, Tian doesn't need to find a whole lot. Tian, just looking at Lebby, Lebby did find an improvement with just a 10th of a second, took himself into the 26s, but not deep enough into the 26s. So this is either going to be Wheeze or Tian. Those are the two drivers still fighting for pole in this session. He's in the pits, he's done for the session. So only Tian can change this result. It wouldn't take much. He needs to find a 10th of a second, put himself into the 26.4s. He can steal that pole position away in the closing stages. Both leads the session again. That driver enter and leave a few times. Ask the drivers if you're listening to the stream. If you're having a problem with the lobby, if the lobby keeps on kicking you out, continue to join. You can join maybe once, twice, and if it's not working, let it go, because it can destabilize the lobby, as in the past. Tian goes quickest. I said he needed to find a 10th, well, found 2. Again, hold my drink. Goes into pole position. Puts Wheeze down into P2. I don't think he's too worried about that. But that is the end of quali. So unless anybody has any penalties, that should be your order. Tian and Wheeze taking up the front row. Then Lebby and Pantry Star on the second row. Sugar Bear and Virus on the third row. Virus splitting the 2 halves. We've got the second half, P7. Second Williams in P8. And Andre P9 and Half-Star 2 making up the top 10. So there are your qualifying results. Let's just go through them quickly. Tian takes pole position, 26.3. Then Weeze, 26.4. Very close between the two. Then Lebby, P3. Pantry P4. Then it's Sugar Bear, Virus, Spikes, Skull, Andre, and Harsh Cartoon make up the top 10. Not in the top 10 with a bit of work to do. France P11, Smurf 12. Then Top Gun 13. Kutozi 14. Captain Slow 15. Atmagozi 16, and It's Free did not set a lap in qualifying. We hope to see him in the race. As we saw, he did not take control of his car in qualifying, so hopefully he can take control of that car in the race. See 17 runners at the start of the race if all goes well. We're looking at the empty pit lane. That's because everybody's parked up on the right hand side of your screen. They are on circuit doing their final preparations. Things like what tyre will they be starting on, how deep into the race do they intend to go. Those will be the questions now. As for setup, 90% of it is locked up under Parc Fermé. There's nothing you can change there. Still one or two things you can mess about with, but for the most part these drivers will have those setups locked in and they won't be messing around with anything just before the race. Of course, we will not be underway immediately. First we're going to have that formation lap. Everybody's going to get a chance to go around and have a feel of these tyres. So a bit of a pause, guys taking their time, taking their strategy very seriously. Of course, it's a circuit it's one of the circuits that's been on the F1 calendar since the very origins of Formula One. Of course, the first year Formula One was an official championship, 1950. Silverstone was on that calendar. With the odd exception of Brands Hatch, it's been the British Grand Prix ever since. Of course, the last time we had two Grand Prix in Britain in the same year, that was in 1993. We had the British Grand Prix right here in Silverstone, and we had the European Grand Prix in Donington. Of course, that was a famous race won by Ayrton Senna. He made 6 overtakes, that's right, 6 overtakes on lap 1 to take the lead of the race in torrential rain conditions. So Tian leads the field around. Looking at the championship, Reese is your championship leader, he's on 100 points. It's for Reese, 68 points, then Lebby, 38. So field starting to spread out. Championship only halfway. Today is round 5. And then Williams, 112 points in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin in second on 87. Ferrari would love to get themselves into the points today. Ferrari just the 1 point this season. Alpine just the 6 points. A few of these teams will have both their drivers here tonight, and if they can get themselves some points, that would be great. And pretty much everybody in the championship with at least a point. Just now Atmagozi, the last driver that needs to score a point, and everyone in the field will have scored at least one championship point. Now wait for the drivers to line up. It looks like they're lined up, but that's because you're looking at the top 3. You're waiting for everybody else to line up. It can be very frustrating for the drivers in front as they sit there, they want to get going, We're already focused on turn 1, and this just feels like an awfully long delay. Of course, sometimes that is on the lead driver. If he just goes around a little bit too quickly, sort of got to keep your eyes on that track map, make sure you haven't let anyone get too far behind, otherwise you're going to sit there and let your tyres cool. Just a late pause here on the circuit. We're still waiting for the red lights. Absolutely nothing going on here. Not sure what's going on with race control. Still sitting on the grid, no movement on the grid, no movement from the lights. Awfully long pause. Hope everything is okay with this lobby. First thing we want to do is start a new lobby. It's so frustrating for the drivers. You've done the formation lap, you've psyched yourself up, you're ready to go. And I think that's confirmation. You can see the DNFs popping up on your screen. There is something wrong with this lobby. Everyone will leave the lobby. We're going to have to wait for a new one to be created. And then we will join that lobby. But you can stay with the stream. We're not going to create a new stream. We're going to stay live with you throughout the process. I have to apologize for the slight delay. So now we will have to wait for a new invite. Something was clearly wrong there. The cars lined up and there was absolutely no movement. Didn't seem like anything was loading either. So can mean only one thing: the lobby was broken. So nothing we can do. We have to leave and wait for a new invite. So that's what we've done. Of course, now when we get back into the lobby, whoever's hosting that lobby, he will put all the cars in their rightful positions as they were at the end of qualifying, and then we'll get going straight away. No qualifying session. Get straight into things. And when that formation lap does end this time around, we'll all be holding our breath. I'll be back with you all in a few minutes from now.
Speed and drama every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene, the crowd must be as keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see. In the quiet lanes of stone town. Folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Lights out, engines roar. Sunday night, we want more. Speed kings racing on the track. Feel the thrill, no turning back. Drivers chase, the trophy gleams. 6 p.m., the race of dreams. Corners tight, they grip and slide. Feel the rush, take it in stride. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. It stops fast, the team's on fire. Chasing down their heart's desire. Highs and lows, we're on the edge. Feel the speed, no time to hedge. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You to NFR, feel the speed.
Good evening, everybody, again, and we're ready to get going again. Obviously, we had qualifying and then we had the formation lap, and just before we were ready to go, we got a lobby glitch. So we are back. Everybody has been put into their grid slot according to those qualifying results, and we should be underway shortly. Of course, all the cars to the right hand side of your screen doing their final preparations for the race. Believe weather should be set to whatever weather was in the first race, so I don't think we should be having any surprises. Welcome to Visor in the comment section. He's joined, as well as Joe, as well as Death Queen, Tian, everybody watching, everybody listening. There's quite a few of you in here, but most of you haven't said anything in the comment section, so if I don't know you're here, I can't say hello, so let me know if you're here. We get away for a formation lap once again. Of course, at the last time we were at this point, the lobby was still very much working, so we'll hold our breath once these cars park up on the grid. I'm just gonna have to close a few windows. This is a lot of rain falling. I'll be back with you. There we go. I had to close that sliding door because rain was actually hitting me in the face. We have Tian P1, Wheeze, P2, reminder of the order, Levy P3, Pantry Star P4, then the two Haas drivers. Of course, some of these guys may have traded places here under the formation lap, so it might give you a slightly wrong order there. Skull landed up going quicker than Andre. By the end of that quali session, he's going to start just ahead of the McLaren. Harsh Cartoon in P9. Correct something about Harsh Cartoon somewhere here in the comment section. So Harsh Cartoon, if you're listening, message from Visor. Wait, where is that message? Oh yes, he is the fastest TC driver. He never told me what TC means, so I'm gonna go with True Champion. So, Harsh Cartoon, if you're listening, Visor thinks you're the fastest True Champion. My interpretation may be incorrect. It's not the best camera angle. Let's see if we can get a better one up here. There we go, that's a bit better. At least we're looking at our leaders. This is the point where the lobby fell apart last time around, so let's hope for something better. There we go, the red lights come on and we can breathe a sigh of relief because we're going to be underway in a few moments from now. It's going to be Tian versus Wheeze, Blue versus Blue, RB versus Williams into turn 1. And more importantly, who's going to come out of turn 1 in the lead? It's Tian, Wheeze, side by side, Pantry Star. Look at that. That's how quickly things can change. Now Pantry Star in the lead of the race, Levy P2, Tian P3. We've got somebody falling to the rear of the field. I think that's a Williams. That's a Williams as well as a McLaren. I wonder if those cars made contact. Those cars may have made contact. Those cars were P7 and P8, but now Skull and Andre 18 and 19. There's definitely damage to the Williams. You can see it there. Seems to be missing one of its end plates. There we go on the right hand side, missing an end plate. As for the McLaren, let's see if we can get a better view of this car. Try to get a view of the car. Give me these long shots. Also appears to have damage, yes, on the left hand side, missing an end plate. Let's just go have a look at Skull once more. Does he have damage? Can we just confirm it? I think I saw damage to the right hand side. So those two drivers with a lot of work to do. Has handed Pantry Star the lead of the race. Levy P2, Tian, one of the favourites in this race, he's down in P3. And Wheeze, who was challenging for the lead not so long ago, now in a very, very different role, finds himself down in P8 with a lot of work to do. It's going to be in a DRS train. Cars ahead of him, cars behind him. You've got to attack while still keeping an eye on the fence. At this point, I'm not even sure what Visor's talking about. Apparently now, Harsh Cartoon is a tractor driver. Remember, I choose to read these comments as I please. He's still in P7. Sugar Bear P6. Harsh Cartoon splitting the two Haas drivers. Got Tian in P3, Levy P2. Leader of the race is Pantry Star, but it is by no means a comfortable lead. He needs to get on with it. 7/10 of a second. Once he breaks DRS, he's going to start feeling a little bit more comfortable. Can't feel too comfortable. Levy's very quick and Levy's just behind him, and Levy's coming under all sorts of pressure from Tian. Obviously frustrations there from the start of the race. He's going to be wanting to get back into it. And sometimes that's the most dangerous place to be as a driver. When you're driving with a little bit of frustration in the back of your mind. You go for a harsher pass, you brake a little bit later, you go for an overtake, you probably wouldn't have gone for under more normal conditions, and I think that was contact between the RB and the Sauber. Can't happen, racing very hard there. Yeah, we'll blame it on I choose. You see, Visor, that's the thing. I choose when to use my ability to read. And when I want to make your message a little bit more interesting, well then I just add stuff that I didn't read. Star leads the way. He's broken that crucial DRS which we were talking about. Levy in P2, Tian P3, and crucially he's fallen adrift in DRS terms from Levy. If there's any damage to that RB, for the time being, he's not able to make any sort of impact. Maybe didn't get damaged that first time round in that first incident. Maybe he did get damaged the second time round with that little contact with the Sauber. So let's try and get a better view of that RB. Camera's just refusing to give me good views this time, every time I need them, and there we go. No, he's got both his end plates. Thought for a second he was missing an end plate, but he does in fact have both his end plates. That seems to be in full working order. Having a look at your tyre situation. Well, it's a lot more soft tyres than I expected to see. A lot of drivers on the softs towards the rear of the field. Pantry Star on the soft tyre. That might explain why he's got phenomenal speed here at the start of the race. Levy and Tian just behind him on the medium tyre, so this track should start to come to them the moment those softs start to slip and slide. Levy and Tian are going to be giving him a very, very difficult time. He's able to hold on to it now because he does have the superior tyre, but he did open that gap to beyond a second, and now all of a sudden the gap is down to 3/10. So either he's made a mistake, or the suggestion of those softs starting to go off is coming true. I almost read that message, and then I realized it was from Visor. So I'm not going to read that message because there's some drivers listening and I don't need any of them to have a heart attack. In case anyone was wondering, no, Visor, I don't believe rain is coming in 10 laps. Because Jeff doesn't talk about laps, he talks about minutes, and he's often wrong. Jeff will usually say something like, rain in 10 minutes, and then you'll completely forget about it. And 20 minutes later he'll say, rain in 15 minutes, and you're like, hold on. Might as well just make a Jeff model that says, just now. A South African term that could mean any time from the present. Just now. Could be in the next moment, could be tomorrow. Pantry Star leads the way, but it's just a tenth of a second. Then I don't know how much longer he's going to lead, because now Tian lines the car up the inside. Thought about it, thinks better of it. This is a brilliant camera angle. We're going to see them go side by side. Is he going to tuck in? Yes, he just tucks in for now. Tian thinks better of it. Knows he's got the better tyre at this stage in the race. Doesn't need to do anything silly at this stage of the race. Of course, he's already tried to come through that field and had contact with the Sauber. He doesn't need any more of that. Doesn't need to lose an end plate. Make an unnecessary pit stop. Tian leads from Pantry Star from Levy. And don't forget this driver here. Remember, he was at the front of the field, started on the front row. Didn't exactly see what happened, but there was an incident where Wies and Tian fell towards the midfield. Wies got the worst of it. We haven't spoken of it yet, but it's lap 6 of 26 and we've already got 4 penalties on our screen. Down in P6 and 7 are the 2 Aston Martins. A team that has a lot of ambition going into their 2026 season. That's next year, getting their new Honda engines. In the 2026 will be a very important year, because often when there's a major rule change, whoever gets those rules just right usually goes on to dominate for a couple of years. Mercedes dominated for 7. 6 titles for Hamilton and 1 for Rosberg, all consecutively. And that's what happens when one team gets it just right on those regulation changes, understands the regulations better than anybody else. And that could happen again next year. Pantry Star, Levy, Tian, these 3 continue to trade places. It's actually these 2 that continue to trade places, because Pantry's doing enough to stay in front. I'm sure he's more happy than he could ever be that the 2 behind him are squabbling about. Obviously, the more they squabble, the less they can focus on. Pantry Star up the road, and now again the RB and the Sauber getting awfully close. Don't know if there was contact or if that was just a lockup, but Tian and Levy getting awfully close in this race, and this is just allowing Pantry Star to get up the road. Sorry, my concentration was just broken. I just got a friend request from somebody that has a picture of Carlos Sainz as their profile picture, and their name is the Habanero. Well, not quite sure who that is. Is it the Habanero? I can't look at those things now. I'll forget to commentate. I'll look at it after the race. Pantry Star, 0.2 of a second. He's had this gap forever. I kept on saying he's going to lose this gap any moment, but he's been able to hold on to this minimal gap, really, because P2 and 3 are focusing on each other, but no more. Now Levy goes to the lead in the race. Pantry Star lets go of the lead for the first time in this race, and I wonder if those softs just passed their peak, past their sell-by date, and now he's going to start going down the field, because all the drivers around him are extremely quick and they're all on the medium tyre. Levy's gone past on the medium, Tian's gone past on the medium, and now Wies is looking for a way past on the medium. Of course, if Wies is able to make this overtake, it's going to mean that all of the top 3 are on identical strategies. Of course, it's always a little bit more fun when they're on identical strategies. They have to match each other in pace, and they have to do the overtakes on the road. They can't wait for that pit window to make the magic. They need to do the magic on circuit. Pantry Star, those softs definitely worked for him on the first 7 laps of the race. Right in the beginning, he was even able to open up the gap over a second, break DRS briefly. Ever since then, he's just started falling back. He's lost 2 positions on the last lap, and now he's coming under heavy pressure from the second Williams driver. Rather, the first Williams driver. The second Williams driver is down in 8th. This is the first Williams driver. This is the point of view from Wies. We have Tian actually in the Discord, so that is something he suggested just before the race, and I really like the suggestion. Maybe something we can do more of in the future. If the drivers want to join the NFR Discord server, you can join the voice chat in that Discord server, and I will be able to contact you during the race for questions, maybe even speak to you prior to the race, a pre-race interview for the drivers I consider to be the favourites for qualifying. I can only do that if I've got a lot of you in the DC. So there's a bunch of you in the party chat, there's a bunch of you on different formats, and all together sit in the voice chat on NFR. We can make this even more of a broadcast. Instead of having the long pause at the beginning before the stream, I can actually start speaking to 1 or 2 of the drivers as they're getting into the lobby, asking their thoughts on the race. How was their preparation? Had they practiced? Had they not? 10-second penalty going the way of the dock. That was one of the last drivers to join the session. Remember, we started with 16 said it was a low turnout, but we got to the race with 19 drivers. We still have all 19 of those drivers in contact. Was there contact? Of course, sometimes what you see on your screen is more of an internet connection than actual contact. Cars seem to just act a little erratic. The drivers having internet performance, and then sometimes you mistake it for a collision, but none of those drivers have damage because there was no collision from their point of view. It's just what we're seeing on our screens. And Levy leads this race, but he's having to do everything to hold on to the lead of the race, using the width of the race circuit, just trying to put Weeze off, trying to put Tian off. You want to get up the road, you want to focus, braking point, apex, braking point, apex, that's all you want to be thinking about, but you can't focus on that because you're keeping your eyes on the mirrors. Visor asking thoughts on Max going to Aston Martin. Well, I think there's a strong possibility. I would say it all depends on what Red Bull has on the table for 2026. I think if they're able to show Max, look, this is the car we've got for 2026 and we know we're going to be competitive, we know we're going to be at the front of the grid, then I don't expect Max to go anywhere. But if he has a look at that 2026 car and he's not very impressed, or if he's not very impressed about Red Bull and Ford's future, he could very well follow Honda to Aston Martin in 2026. The question then becomes, where does Alonso go? Will that be the end of Fernando Alonso? But surely Max isn't taking Stroll's seat. That's just not going to happen. I'm pretty convinced that when Stroll is way too old to drive and he's forced to retire, he'll simply take ownership of the Aston Martin team. We're never getting that guy out of the grid. So if you're waiting patiently for the day Lance Stroll retires, I think you're going to be seeing him on screen as long as you watch Formula 1 on screen. That guy's never going away. Weeze leads 2/10, Tian second, side by side briefly, blue versus blue. These were the two cars off the line at the start of the race, heading off into turn 1, fighting for the lead, and then they had an incident very early on in the race, put them both in the midfield, and somehow both of them have come back through the field, taken P1 and 2 yet again. They're 2/10 of a second apart. They've got the same set of tyres, they're on the same strategy, and this is going to be a race of pace right to the end. Hopefully there's no contact, and that's what it comes down to, just pure pace. Who was quicker on the night? Don't want to see an incident. You don't want to see a race like this end in an incident. Of course, both of them were involved in an incident on lap 1, so the race could have gone a lot worse for them. Luckily neither of them picked up damage and they were able to get on with things, and now they P1 and 2. And Weeze looking to take that lead. He's not going to do it there. Let's ask Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen about that. Sugar Bear, P4, fantastic result so far for the Haas team, 4 and 6. Pantry style. Remember, he led this race for a time. He started on the soft tyre, was able to maintain the lead for quite a few laps. He has since come in and put on a set of medium tyres. He had those tyres for a lap now. It's down in P5. We have a second Ferrari driver. I didn't actually see this one jump in, but we have Jan in P7. So Joe, if you're still listening, the replacement has stepped in. There is 2 Ferraris on the grid. Is Jan the Ferrari test driver? What's going on here? Tian, 3-second penalty. That's going to be a big one. Every single penalty in the field is a big one, but when a penalty is at the top of the field, the stakes are so much higher. If you're not in the points, penalty doesn't really mean much. If you finish 14 or 15, it's not going to affect you in the championship. But when you're leading a race, when you're holding on to a podium, you suddenly get a penalty, the realization comes that you're going to have to do a lot more than what you're doing right now. Of course, this scenario works out perfectly for Wheeze. He's the leader of the race and he has no penalties. So while Tian is fighting him for the lead, on the timing sheets, Tian is 3 seconds down the road. It just gives you that little bit of an extra cushion, that little bit of extra comfort, takes a little bit of the pressure off. Sometimes that can be good for you. Other times it can be very bad. Joe saying Jan is his teammate. Okay, so France is then the test driver. Can't be 3 Ferrari drivers. Does that mean France has stepped into Joe's Ferrari? At least there are 2 Ferraris on the grid. Bad news for Ferrari, both of them outside of the points. Just 1 Constructors' Championship point for the Ferrari team, looking for something better this afternoon. Tian leads from Wheeze. We stay with these 2 because they're so close and it's a battle for the lead. A little further back we've got Pantry Star coming under pressure from Spikes. Those 2 on the same strategy as well. Then we've got Lebby in P7. He's doing very much his own thing. He's gone for the hard compound of tyre. He's down in P7 and going for the long haul. This will obviously be right to the end of the race. Harsh Cartoon, man who is praised by Visor in the comment section every time he drives. Currently in P8, just ahead of Skull, and Skull under pressure from Gatosi in that final points paying position. Top Gun, how he'd like to get himself into the points. Probably the most frustrating place to finish is P11. Finish further down, you think, oh well, it wasn't my night tonight, no points, oh well. Finish in the points, that's great. Finish P11. I think I was so close to making a point out of this race. Of course, on Friday night in JPR, very different point scoring system. One that I would have to go and study before I could do any commentary on. Points are a lot more spread out. You get points beyond the top 10. Of course, here at SKR we use the official F1 point scoring system. You can get a bonus point if you set that fastest lap and you finish within the top 10. Finish outside the top 10, that does not apply. Confirmation from Joe that it is indeed France that has stepped in to take his seat. It's great to see when the league is this strong that it's missing 1 or 2 drivers on a night, yet it has so many drivers willing to step in, willing to take that seat. It means the seats are in demand. It means SKR is in demand. Sugarberry now in P2, that is as a result of him not doing his pit stop yet. Tian has come into the pits, put on a set of soft tyres. Wheeze is still out there, he's done 1 extra lap. Surely he's going to respond to Tian on this lap. Will he too jump in for the soft tyre? Of course it's lap 15 of 26, that means they'd have to do 8 or 9 laps on those soft tyres. And we know that after 6 laps, they're not in perfect condition. He has already used his mediums, so will he come in and put on a set of odds? I don't think that's going to be the case. Does he respond? Yes, he does. The leader of the race into the pits. The man now in P2 will take the lead of the race, considering he doesn't come into the pits, and I don't think he will. He's on a set of hard tyres. He's going to go a little bit deeper than everybody else. Going to be enough to take the lead of the race, because Wheeze had quite a lead. He's only arriving at his pit box now. It's quite the pit entry. Now Sugarbear around the final corner. Wheeze is back on his way. The pit stops around F1 these days so quick. It's back in the 90s, they were closer to what really depended. There was refueling in the 90s, so if the car didn't have a lot of fuel to go in, the pit stop was shorter. The car was running light and had a lot of fuel to go in, you get some really long pit stops, anything up to 12 seconds. Of course, we don't see anything like that in modern day F1 unless the garage has made a catastrophic mistake. Sugarberry leads the way, Tian P2, just 1.5 seconds adrift from the leader, and that leader is yet to pit. They've been saying we need a safety car. Indeed we do. We've lost the one driver that was earlier on, that was Doc, a DNF. But I think that driver retired in the pits because it showed me he had 0 lap hold cards. So I think he came into the pits retired. And they put that new set of tyres on anyway, so it shows that you've got no laps. If Doc retired right in the beginning, that did not trigger any sort of safety car. And for some of the drivers towards the rear of the field, oh how they'd love that safety car. Brings the whole field back together, changes everything in the race. Drivers that were already starting to settle and thinking about the victory all of a sudden have to refocus on a restart that can go just as badly as any start of a race. Every time you have a restart, you have a risk of big problems into turn 1. So a lot of viewers now watching. Thank you to all of you who are watching. This is NFR, this is SKR on a Sunday evening. About 20 of you here now, just 6 likes, so remember to hit that like button if you enjoy what you're watching. Of course, this is SKR on a Sunday. We come back on a Tuesday night at 8 PM for SAFRL. And of course this week, we're going to be back on Wednesday and Thursday night. We're going to have HRA on this channel. Of course, they will be broadcasting to their normal channel. That will be on Twitch. And I got them to agree that if I did co-commentary, I would simulcast to my own channel. So all of yous who are watching, or fans of NFR, if you want to catch that, it's going to be HRA Division 2 on Wednesday night, Division 1 on Thursday night, and those races are going to start at 10 PM South African time because, well, it's a British league that starts at 8 PM, so it's a little bit later for us, but I hope to see all of you there, and I hope to see you on the NFR stream. Of course, what will happen is if you're watching on the HRA stream on Twitch or you're watching on the NFR stream right here, you'll have 2 different camera angles because we'll probably be looking at 2 different things, but you'll hear the exact same commentary. So I hope to see all of my regulars back with me Wednesday night, Thursday night. It's going to be a long night. I don't usually commentate until 11:30, so I need all of your company, need all of your support. Hopefully I don't sound too amateur next to my British counterpart. Tian leads from Wheeze. We're watching Pantry Star. He's defending from Spikes. That gap 0.3 of a second. Currently the closest gap we have on the circuit. It's the fight for P3. Very quiet in the comment section. Are you guys enjoying the racing? Or has everyone just left? And left their YouTube on? Because the viewers are still here, but the comment section has stopped. Comment section very busy prior to the race, very busy in qualifying, but the moment the race gets going, there's just nothing happening in the comment section. Lap 19 of 26. If we are going to have a safety car, the time is starting to run out. Silverstone not always known for its safety cars. It's a very wide circuit. It's a circuit with a lot of runoff. If you do make a mistake, maybe if you were in Monte Carlo, maybe if you were in Jeddah or Abu Dhabi or Las Vegas, a mistake that would cost you a retirement over here might just cost you a trip through the grass. A track with a lot of runoff, a track with a lot of space, and also a track with a lot of width. So you don't see as many safety cars around this circuit. You have to go pretty far off the circuit to find a wall, or you have to be incredibly unfortunate to hit the wall where they are actually close to the tarmac. You can see just from that shot there, lots of grass on the left, lots of grass on the right, gravel all over the place, tarmac runoff. That's why we don't see that many safety cars in Silverstone. There's just so much space to avoid an incident. And if you do make a mistake, it's not going to be first mistake into a barrier. Tian leads, comfortable lead, 1.9 seconds. Wees in P2. He's got the same set of tyres. He's got 1 lap worth of an advantage on his tyres. Don't know how much that will come into play, but it could come into play on that final lap. The gap now is 1.9 seconds. Tian has a penalty. So, as things stand, if the checkered flag were to fall right now, Wees would win this race. So not only does Tian need to defend his P1, he needs to open that gap. If he intends to win this race, he needs to win it by a distance. He can't just win it on track. That's not going to be enough. He needs to win it on the timing sheets. Spikes in P4. It's on the back of SAFRL, but in the mirrors, he sees Pantry Star. Mentioned earlier in the race, it's sometimes the most difficult place to be. It's when you're in the middle. You're following that driver ahead of you, you're looking for a mistake, you're waiting for any sort of gap so you can pounce. And every now and then your eyes go down, look at the mirror, and you think, I forgot that guy's there. Every time you do go for an attacking position, you need to make sure that you haven't put yourself in a vulnerable position for that car behind you to attack as well. Gotta have your eyes on 2 things at once. Some drivers, they will thrive under the pressure. Others, well, they crumble. Still only 6 likes. I don't know what to do to get more likes on the channel. I'm just going to start muting the whole race until you guys like it. I'm just going to mute the whole thing. I'm going to go on strike. I'll just let you listen to the terrible engine sounds of F1 2024 and I won't say anything. That'll be a fun stream. Tian, 1.3 seconds is the gap. I said he'd want to increase that gap because he needs to win it in the timing sheets. Winning it on the tarmac's not going to be enough. But instead of increasing that gap, Wees is reeling that gap in. That gap is getting smaller. Tian has a penalty and the gap is getting smaller. So the way things are going, this race is going very much in the way of Wees. This is Spikes, this is Pantry Star. They're following SAFRL. That's P3, 4 and 5. All fighting for position. Levy not too far behind either. He could very well join those 3 cars if they continue to squabble about for position. Wees and Tian. Wees has taken the lead. And now the car with that 1 lap tyre advantage is in the lead of the race. And his nearest competitor has a 3-second penalty. The driver in P3 also has a 3-second penalty. So Wees in a very, very strong position to win this race, even if he loses the lead of it. So we're getting very, very close now to what I call the safe zone. That is when we can have no more safety cars in the race because time has simply run out for us to have a full course safety car. We're still not quite there. Still lap 22 of 26. We have seen safety cars come out with 3 laps to go. So let's not count anything out just yet. I think we'll be safe once we get to lap 24. This is Wees. Tian. P1. P2. They have left SAFRL. down the race circuit, 10 seconds adrift, and look at this, they're going side by side again, and this time Tian retakes the lead of the race. Weeze will be enjoying this, but in the back of his mind he'll also know, I don't have a penalty, don't need to do anything silly, just need to hold on. Of course, we haven't asked Tian anything during the course of the race. We will do that in future races. I haven't really wanted to distract him. He's been on a battle almost throughout. But I think what we will have is we'll have him in the cool down room already when the race is over. So we'll try bring him into the comms box. Have a word about this. We'd love to have Weeze also in the comms box because these two have been going at it. And we'd like to actually get a word from both of them as to what happened at the start. Remember, these cars left the grid P1 and 2, but at the end of lap 1, neither one of them was in P1 or P2. They were down the field, in the midfield, there was some sort of contact. Since then, they've come through the field, made their overtakes. They're back in P1 and 2, and they're just as close as they were in qualifying. Remember, in qualifying, these two were just 1/10 of a second apart. And now in the race, they're showing how that pace from qualifying has translated perfectly. So I was talking about in qualifying, sometimes the guys, they'll go for a setup that is all out, one lap pace. Gets to the race, you see them struggling, they can't keep up with those drivers they were keeping up with in qualifying, but when you get a good balance, it works on both sides. And that's a great example here for Tian and Weeze. They were just a 10th apart in qualifying. In the race on lap 24 of 26, they are 2/10 apart. Oh, if only this race did not have any penalties. Now I've closed all the windows and all the sliding doors because of the rain, and now it's getting incredibly humid in this house. So I'm looking forward to the end of the next 2 laps. Pantry Star still fighting for position. This position could be so much more crucial than it appears to be on track. It appears that Pantry Star is fighting for P4 and that Spikes is fighting for P3. That is not what's happening. Spikes is already in P3. Ferrari has that penalty. Pantry Star's in P4, which means Pantry Star is fighting for a podium. I say you don't see it on screen, the man in P5 fighting for a podium, but yes he is. This is going to be a very crucial bit. If he can get ahead of Spikes, he'll be able to capitalize on that it's free penalty. And he'll be able to steal a victory. He's still got a lot of work to do before he can do that. Weeze and Tian, still that penalty in between them. Don't want to wish any harm on Weeze's race, but if he got a penalty now and balanced this out, well, it would make the race a lot more interesting. These two are racing on circuit, but I just know in the back of my mind that in the timesheets they're not really that close to each other. Tian half a second back, 25 of 26, not long to go. It's Ferrari still holding on to P3, but that penalty is going to throw him off the podium. It's not going to be very helpful for his championship. Spikes, as things stand, will claim that P3 unless Pantry Star is able to do something insane in the closing laps, or if Spikes makes an error. To stay with us after the stream. I'm almost certain we will have Tian in the cool down room. We'll bring him into the comms box, ask him about his race, ask him about that 3-second penalty, ask him about that race start, and if we can get Weeze in here too, well, that would be great. Weeze, Tian, it's Ferrari. Of course, there is a battle for the lead, but that's a battle split by a penalty, so we're going to watch this battle. It's Ferrari fighting for P3. Pantry Star still in a position to pick up a podium. It's lap 26 of 26. This is the final lap. Keep on talking about last minute heroism. Well, this is the time to do it. There's only one lap to go. There's only 2 sectors after this one, and then you're done. So if you're going to do anything magic, if you're going to do anything rash, if you're going to do anything brave, now is the time. Just don't do anything stupid. Still have Weeze and Tian at the front, 3/10 in between these drivers. Just a 10th covered them in qualifying. 3/10 covers them in the race, and it's the final lap of the race. Right again with It's for Ree, Spikes just behind him, and then Pantry Star. I wonder if that reality has hit Pantry Star. Is he aware that he's in the battle for a podium? Sometimes you just get so focused, you don't look up at your timing sheets, you don't see there's a driver up the road with a penalty. Maybe he thinks he's battling for P4. Maybe he would have had a lot more urgency if he knew he was racing for P3. He's a little bit too far behind to do anything from there. Take a massive mistake from the Haas driver. He's been brilliant in qualifying, he's been brilliant in the race, and I just don't see that mistake happening. So Wee's over the line in P1, Tian's going to take P2 because of that penalty. Spikes will pick up the podium, and Pantry Star gets the promotion up into P4. Further down the field, is still waiting for the Aston Martin of Harsh Cartoon. He's going to bring it over the line and pick up some nice points on the night for P7. There he is, coming around the final corner. Next up around the final corner, we should see Skull, and there he is. Sugar Bear just behind him in P9, and there are your points paying positions. Tozy, I think, actually just made up a position, went up into P9. Going to see a lot of switching and changing in the score sheet, in the time sheet, and it's because of all those penalties. As they go over the line, the game will work it out for us. We've had a very late DNF. A very late DNF. A caution with just a corner or two to go for most of the field, but Lebby DNFs from this race very late in proceedings, and that's an odd one. Now we just wait for Apmagozi. Where is Apmagozi? There he is. The Ghost comes around the corner and goes over the line. And that, folks, is the end of Season 10, Round 5 in Silverstone. Hopefully I muted that in time, but I don't think I did. It's Faree, picks up driver of the day. And now we just wait for those final results. Quick look at the podium. And straight into the results. There we go. Weeze takes the victory after starting P2 on the grid. Tian, he takes P2 after taking pole position. So those two swapped around. Weeze also took the fastest lap of the race, so he's going to get 26 points on the night. P3 went to Spikes, then Pantry Star P4. He was followed by It's Faree, that was your driver of the day. Harsh Cartoon in P6, Skull P7, Katozi P8, Sugar Bear P9, and Virus taking the final point. No points on the night for last week's hero, Andre P11, then Smurf P12, France 13, stepping in for Joe, Top Gun 14, Captain Slow 15, Atmagozi 16, and then we had Lebby, Jan, and Doc 17, 18, and the retirement, the DNF of Doc. I think Lebby was a DNF, but he was still classified as finished because it came that late in the race. I'm going to allow for a few minutes. I think we've already got one driver in the cool down room. That should be Tian. Just going to allow another minute or two to see if anybody else does want to join the comms box. Then we'll go in there, we'll start talking to Tian, and if anybody joins after that, I can just pull them in one by one. I'll let you enjoy the music for a minute or two, and then I'll be back with you.
SKR, feel the speed, speed. Adrenaline is what we need. Fast gear, engines wail, close the gap, never fail. Pit stops quick, no detail. Fuel the fire, trail the tail. Final lap, tension high. Who will win? Who will fly? Rivalries burn under the sky. Finish line, here's the cry. SKR, feel the drive, drive. Yeah. Push the limit, come alive, alive. SKR, feel the speed, speed. Adrenaline is what we need.
Welcome back, everyone. See, we do have. Oh, well, we had one driver, and now I just looked at the screen and we've got two drivers. So we've got two drivers in the cool down room, and they're the two drivers that finished P1 and 2. So let's get them into the comms box. I'm going to bring Big T into the comms box, and then I'm going to bring Wheeze into the comms box. Let me just see. Need to make sure everyone at home can hear them. There we go. Say something. Okay, I don't think they can hear you. Just hold on for me. Don't know why this thing resets itself each and every time. It's quite annoying. Here we go. Can they hear you now? Say something.
Testing.
There we go. It's working. I can see it. Fantastic. I need to save my settings. So, welcome to the both of you. Welcome to Wheeze. Welcome to Tion. First thing I want to ask you, you guys qualified P1 and 2 on the grid, separated by a tenth of a second. What happened at the start of the race that you both went backwards?
We also asking ourselves.
Sorry?
We also asking ourselves that question. We have no idea what happened.
Because I was watching and I didn't see the contact. I didn't see any sort of incident, and neither of you had damage. So I was trying to piece it all together and find out what actually happened there on lap 1. But obviously throughout the race, you guys had to come through the field a little bit, make a few overtakes. But once you got to P1 and 2, it was back to the qualifying battle.
Yeah, I almost broke DRS to Pantry and Lenny. That was just before I got that I was double overtaken back to P3. But on that lap, my controller lost feedback twice. So I had to pause twice to let AI take over. And then after that, when I finally fixed it, it was on that back finish straight. And I fell back to P3, and that allowed Reese to also catch up. But yeah, I was hoping not to because it was tough to get past. Because people fight every corner like they can win the race. So yeah, but once that was over, Reese and I, we just DRS jockeyed each other to the end of the race. I sadly got the penalty, so I didn't really care about the win. That's why I put my ERS on none and let Reese catch up so we could just play with each other a little bit. And then on the last lap, I think going into the penultimate corner or whichever one after the DRS, we made a little bit of contact again. So I just decided to give Reese the win and accept the two winners.
And then question for Wheeze. I always like to ask this question when a driver survives without any penalties. Were you on a warning? 2 warnings? How close were you exactly?
No warnings.
No warnings. Because
So you go wide a few times.
sometimes it just
Yeah.
sometimes it
There's
can just
certain
take
races
the
where you go wide, and you just lift.
You were struggling in cops. I thought I could pressure you into going wide there and get a penalty. But
No, I had like really light wing damage in the front, but I didn't want to box. Otherwise, I'd lose too much time. I knew I wouldn't make it up.
And are both of you guys competing on Tuesday night?
Uh,
Tuesday night
No,
is
we actually swap.
SAFRL.
No, we swap seats. I'm out of SAFRL for now to focus on uh what's the name
sorry.
again?
HRA.
Yeah, HRA. Yeah, you
So
see how tight
that's
that field is. So
that's a reminder to the viewers. HRA is going to be on this channel for the first time. It's going to be a simulcast, so you can watch over on Twitch on their regular channel, or if you're a fan of this channel, you can watch right here. You're going to hear the same commentary. You might just have different camera angles, different camera perspectives, but other than that, it'll be the same stream, and you can watch it here where you're used to it. And then Big T, Wheeze, speaking of HRA, are you aliens in HRA, or do you feel a little bit more normal? Do you come down to earth? What can you tell
Well,
me
I don't
about
race
HRA?
there. I don't race there, so I can't say
So
anything.
it's only Wheeze.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wheeze, what can you tell us about the pace in HRA? If people haven't tuned into an HR race before, what can they expect on Wednesday and Thursday?
Well, a good time in year for pole will probably put me about P6 or P7, but yeah, then again, I don't prep the car for qualifying at all. I just focus on the race. Where, yeah, so I qualified fifth in Japan and I took the win. Qualified fifth in Spain and I got fourth. That's because I was backed into guys behind me. Like it's yeah, it's really tight field. I think it's like 1 second covers the top 17.
Oh, that's insane. It should be good to watch. Should be good to commentate on. Of course, that was SKR season 10 round 5 to come to an end. We're going to be back on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. That's the new time slot. SAFRL moved from a Monday to a Tuesday, and then we're going to be back for HRA on Wednesday and Thursday. So very busy week on this channel. You guys were asking for more midweek racing, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that this week. Somebody in the comment section actually said it was a nice Valentine's Day present. So not quite on the 14th, but close enough. I want to thank Big T. I want to thank Wheeze, the drivers P1 and 2 in qualifying and P1 and 2 in the race. They just reversed those P1s and 2s. Did very well done to both of you. And I hope to see you back in the comms box soon. And I hope to see you back on the racetrack soon.
Yep,
Thank you very much, guys. And
Cheers.
I'll speak to you next time.
sweet man.
Cheers, cheers. Back to the YouTube audience. Of course, I want to thank all of you for joining us this evening. It was a fantastic race. It was a fantastic qualifying session. It was a qualifying session that left the front row split by a tenth of a second. It was a race that could have gone down to a couple of tenths of a second if a penalty had not been involved. So a fantastic race from start to finish. Great results for some of the drivers on the grid. 19 drivers showed up at the end of the day, so almost a full lobby. Fantastic to see. But with that has come the end of the race, has come the end of the night. I don't know what more to say. We're going to be back on Tuesday, that is at 8 p.m. Reminder for SAFRL. And then later on in the week, Wednesday and Thursday, for the first time on this channel, it might be a once off. Let's see how popular it is. But we're going to have a simulcast with HRA, that is 10 p.m. South African time. So I hope to see as many of you there as possible. I'm going to let you enjoy a little bit of music before I stop the stream. Thank you to all of you. If you haven't left a like on this video, please do. If it's your first visit to the channel, remember to subscribe. And also remember, in the video description, just below this video, in the video description, there is 2 Discord links. One of the Discord links goes to SAFRL and SKR. You can contact them on Discord if you're interested in driving in any of those 2 leagues. And if you would like to join the growing NFR F1 community on Discord, you can also join the NFR server. In the future, I'd like to have more drivers in the NFR server's Discord chat, even prior to the race. Can bring guys in while we're waiting for the lobby to finish up, while we're waiting for the race to get going. We can bring a few guys in, guys that are favorites for qualifying, ask them a few questions, maybe just mount a little bit of extra pressure on their shoulders. Should be something interesting. We want to add more things to the channel. We want to make it more interesting for you guys. So if you have any suggestions, you can either let me know in the comment section here on YouTube, or you can head over to our Discord server and in the suggestions page, let me know of anything that comes to your mind. And if I can make it happen, I'll do everything I can. Thank you everybody for joining me today. Remember to leave a like, and until Tuesday night, cheers.
Dreams nowhere to hide. Bought him a name, can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Lights out, engines roar. Sunday night, we want more. Speed kings racing on the track. Feel the thrill, no turning back. Drivers chase, the trophy gleams. 6 p.m., the race of dreams. Corners tight, they grip and slide. Feel the rush, take it in stride. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. It stops fast, the team's on fire. Chasing down their heart's desire. Highs and lows, we're on the edge. Feel the speed, no time to hedge. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Rivalries, the fierce battles fought. Every move, it's match or not. Lightning fast, they glide and weave. All the fans, they can't believe. SKR, we're racing high. Burning rubber, reaching sky. Drama twists and turns galore. Speed kings racing, we want more. Feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under dreams, we take the lead. On NFR swing, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR.